This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of
You can get the TrueFire All Access Pass for as cheap as they ever do it, the $99 thing. So just jump and do that if you're looking for the best price you can get TrueFire All Access for. Okay, so I had an Instagram message from David yesterday who said, "Hey mate, can I have your honest opinion on the PRS Silver Sky?" And I kind of thought, what do you think I've been giving you? So I kind of wanted to give my honest, unfiltered opinion on the PRS Silver Sky, because I've done plenty of videos on it, but have I been totally honest about the guitar? Let's jump into it. So, the point for me is that I'm not likely to tell you anything I don't believe to actually be true on the channel, because it seems to me that that's like the least that I could do if I'm going to be talking about guitars and my opinions on guitars, which is at the best of times kind of, you know, not that useful. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, it's not the same as you getting your hands on a guitar, it's just some guy in his bedroom talking about a guitar. But the very least I could do is make it so it's actually like what I really think, and not just lie about a guitar. There would be no reason for me to do this. I bought this guitar with my own money. If just behind the curtains a little bit, if you see a video where I've done a like I was kind of surprised by this, or I wasn't expecting this, that's maybe a video where I had kind of lower expectations for that piece of gear, and those were exceeded. But still, I'll show if there are flaws with the guitar, even if it's a paid demo, just because I think it's kind of the least you could do. So for instance, when Fender sent me an American Vintage 2, which they were very generous to do, I still showed, you know, in the video that there was like a little bit of a neck pocket gap. There was a little bit of the headstock which had not fully received lacquer or had been sanded back. Either way, there were a couple little flaws that I thought, in the interest of transparency, I thought I might as well show. So that's kind of how it is for me. Like, it doesn't work out for me necessarily every time, but at the same time, what's the point in, you know, hiding any of this stuff? It doesn't really work out, I don't think. Otherwise, you know, I'm just being a mouthpiece for companies, which I do enough of, but I can at least try and do it in an honest way. So this is a PRS Silver Sky, as I said. This is the core model. Now, I got this for, I think, $12.50 or something like that, or $11.50. And you'll see that there's a significant crack in this paint. Now, that doesn't give me the the best feeling about like the quality of the paint job or whatever. Like it's shrinking, and there are these cracks appearing. It doesn't look the same as checking in nitro. I'll try and get some close-ups of it, but it doesn't matter to me because it meant that I got a guitar very cheap. Now, David did say to me that he's ended up very pleased with his guitar. He ended up paying £1,100 for it. These are on the used market, of course. And now this is where I really think the Silver Sky is a little bit of a hidden gem, because even, you know, people that are somewhat aware of what a Silver Sky is, when you meet them in person, they're kind of like, well, how much, aren't they like $3,000 or something? I think people still have this perception that they're quite expensive guitars, which actually, if you buy one used, you can get them for less than like a Fender American Vintage, you know, pretty reasonably priced. As I say, I got this one for $1,150. David just got one in an awesome Dodgem blue colour, and I think his looks in much better condition than mine, to be fair. This has some bumps and scrapes and like has been played clearly. It's a 2021 model. The things that you'll notice about a Silver Sky, I guess, if you play them, is that it feels pretty stratty. I think it's a slightly wider nut, potentially. You've got 22 frets, which I actually prefer to a standard Strat. Another thing I prefer to a standard Strat, we've got a truss adjustment here. So the one kind of downside with most of the Fender Strats, and even the Fender Strat copies like K-Lines that I'd be playing, is that almost all of them are going to have a truss rod adjustment under the neck, which actually is a little bit impractical when you do need to get in there and make adjustments depending on where in the world you live. So that is one thing actually that I think PRS even get slightly better than like the Fender thing in general, right? Other than that, it does feel pretty much like a Strat to play, I would say. It's comfortable, contoured, it's got a springy feel, slightly taller frets. I think they may have used slightly, this might have been like a 2021 thing. I'm not sure if they use taller frets all the time. But like a chunky neck, but not too chunky, sort of like mid-60s, and pickups that do sound like a Strat. Now, I thought what might be more interesting than just singing the praises of this guitar, which you've probably seen a lot of people maybe doing, is maybe, and again, I should probably say as well, even new at Peach Guitars, if you're in the UK, you can get these for less than £2,000. And for that kind of money, this really does, I think, sit in between like the American Vintage series and a Fender Custom Shop in terms of playability. Being a lightweight guitar, this one's like £7 and 2 ounces or something like that. The PRS Silver Skys in general don't get that heavy. They try to keep them lighter. You know, a nice dark fretboard. The quality overall is good. Even if aesthetically, some of these things that our man John Mayer made choice-wise that kind of tie in with like a Casio G-Shock thing, I think at the moment look a little bit plasticky. Maybe over time, this kind of aesthetic on the guitar will either age terribly and always look kind of like a little bit off, or maybe we'll all grow to love it. I don't know. Your view may differ on that. The things that I would change about the PRS Silver Sky then. So first, personally, I think, just going off of that again, like aesthetically, I think these knobs could be better. Like they look just a little bit plasticky, and already like the volume stuff is starting to wear off. I'll try and get a close up of that. That's a very sort of nitpicky thing. That does it matter that much? Not really. We got locking tuners. That's great. Personally, I think these plasticky machine heads, you know, aesthetically, does that look like a $2,500, $3,000 guitar? Should, I don't know, again, a very nitpicky, but some ebony knobs or something like that, or I don't know, cream. I think there are things that might look a little bit classier than that. They just look a little bit plasticky, is my take on it. Other people might love them. Let me know in the comments if you do. Now, I guess my main kind of thing might be, what would a Silver Sky look like if you got rid of the birds and what might a Silver Sky sell like if it didn't have John Mayer's name attached to it? Those are two questions that obviously there is a huge Mayer selling point in that he has a lot of fans that are really keen to try the stuff that he uses. But at the same time, I think there's also like a little bit of like the negative of that, where it's like there's actually quite a lot of people that I think would be interested in this as an S-type guitar were it not for the John Mayer association. And that's kind of just my take on it. So those are some of the negatives, such that I can find any. And I guess, of course, like I mentioned, this kind of finish, I think it's nitro on these ones. It's just got these pretty big cracks along it at the moment, which it kind of looks a little bit like plasticky nitro just because of the way that it's cracked. It doesn't look like you know, the shattered glass kind of nitro aging that you get on other things. But all of these things, most important of all, is that if you're looking for an S-type guitar with a nice chunky neck, I compared it to a American Vintage 2 1961, which would be, in theory, quite a close guitar, you'd have thought, but the neck on that was actually far skinnier. And this, I really prefer the way the neck feels. I'd be interested actually, like maybe this is something that PRS could do, like take the Silver Sky, give it a 9.5 or 10-inch radius, make it with dots instead of the birds, and would people be inclined to try that guitar? I don't know, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Those are just some, you know, I'm not a marketing expert by any means, just some sort of thoughts based on I think on paper the 7.25 inch radius is going to put off some people, but actually I find it quite comfortable. I think we can even do I wouldn't be put off in terms of bending at all, is essentially like I bent all the way. That's a fifth. Wait, no, that's a fourth. But you see also the tuning stability is that's the only other thing that I would say that I'm not super thrilled with. Tuning stability with this trem. At the moment this is kind of, it's set up pretty much flush to the body, so I don't really use the trem on this at all. It's quite a stiff one, and I don't think it returns hugely well. and it's super hard to depress. It's got 4 springs in there. That's kind of my honest thoughts on the PRS, such as they are. So David, I think you've got a really nice guitar potentially on your hands there. I'm keen to see how this PRS kind of ages over time and see if, you know, if this grows into a guitar that I really love. Because at the moment I think it's absolutely great. It's perfect in the stables, like a backup Strat for me. And it actually kind of looks, I think, pretty good on stage. A lot of people aren't going to know that it's a John Mayer signature. And I think in some ways it does maybe look a little bit more contemporary than a Strat, if that's the thing you care about. For me, it's not, but there we are. Cheers for stopping by. If you like the tones in this video, I was using Helix Native, the Eric Lee 2023 preset. You can grab all of my presets in the Gumroad folder for £5 if you check in the description. Cheers for stopping by. Hope you're having a good weekend.